Hi, welcome. My name is Trent Tucker, and I teach from home these days. And I've made other videos about some of the kit that I use, microphones, recording software, input tablets, things like that. What I wanted to show you, the purpose of this video is to show you an integrated, what my entire office looks like, as well as how I make it work and fit it all together. So I'm going to get Camtasia started up here. Okay, we're in Camtasia. We want to create a new recording. Hit record. And what I'm suggesting is if you're recording, with Camtasia, with OBS, with iShowU, with any number of different screen capture options, record both the screen and the webcam video tracks and record all of the video sources. So I want to record the LCD screen, that's true. I want to record the FaceTime, so you get my smiling face. And I'm going to record the microphone, and I can change the levels at this stage, or I can change them in post-production. And I'm going to record the system audio as well, so that I've got every single thing that I need. If I only want to do the screen capture, that's fine. There's no harm in recording the FaceTime track, the screen or the webcam image that you see there. If you don't record it, you won't have it. But if you want it, then record it. And the nice thing is if you have it, then you can move it around to different quadrants of the screen depending on how your fit works. Likewise, the system audio. Sometimes it's handy to have those error messages if you intentionally make a mistake and the system goes ding, and then you can tell your students, oh, this happened and here's why. Now, if you don't have that recorded, it's not going to capture. The problem is you can also capture other things in the background. So if you had a YouTube video playing and then it automatically starts to go to the next one in the list, that's a problem. If you have your email tab not muted, then every time you get a new email and it goes ding, then that's going to be captured as well. So if you kind of set up your browser and other things that make noise in the background and have them silent, then this is a good way to go. So we can start recording now in Camtasia. Get the count in 3, 2, 1, and action. I'm not sure, we might end up in a vortex here if we have Camtasia recording and the Zoom camera over there recording as well. So let's get right into it, shall we? So what I've got is I'm running Keynote on my laptop here, and I have a couple of monitors that I use for my regular work, and I introduce everything as we go along. So welcome to Prof. Tucker's Kit and Workflow. My name is Trent Tucker, and we're going to first off talk about kit. So let's see. Back in the 1960s, this show was all the rage. There's Captain James T. Kirk, and he's got his crew members, Sulu and Chekhov, in front of him. Just like me, I've got the nice chair, very Kirk-like. And I've got my two monitors. I don't call them Sulu and Chekhov. I call them one left and two right. And there's another nice picture of the bridge. But, it's a good model. Use the Enterprise bridge as your metaphor. So what have I got here? I got a couple LG 24-inch monitors. The model name is W2242PA. They were like $100 and some odd bucks at the time. They're about 10 years old. I don't think LG makes them anymore. But they're a great monitor. They have a few inputs on the back. Each monitor has two inputs that I'm using. I'm using a digital video, a DVI input, and I'm using an HDMI input. I'll talk about the HDMIs a little bit later in the video. On the second monitor over here, I'll take HDMI in from my TELUS optic system, like my regular television system. I can watch TV on here. The audio comes out and it goes into my Marshall Bluetooth speaker over there, so I get nice stereo sound when I decide to watch TV with this monitor. Does that count as workflow, or is that more recreation time? Anyways, here's the setup. Laptop, two cables from the laptop, DVI cable, so it's the Mac. DVI is part of the Mac world. The new Macintoshes with the USB-C connector, there's a USB-C DVI cable. It's somewhere here in this mess of cables. So the only cables going into the Matrox are DVI and USB for power. So you can power it from any USB. It doesn't have to be connected to your computer. Two cables coming out of the Matrox dual head-to-go box, DVI cables into your monitors. So Matrox is the name of the company, great Canadian company. They have great gear. I can't say enough about their stuff. It plugs, it plays, it just works. Many years ago, I had a dual head to go. The very first one I bought, these were like $300, $279, something like that. This is VGA, so VGA out from the computer, 2 VGA outputs to 2 separate monitors, or in the case of Rosansky Hall 104, two separate projectors. So I could have a, this is actually one slide in Keynote spread across 2 different outputs. So I started with VGA and I moved up to digital video. If you need, I got a VGA one available for you. A couple more pieces of kit. I've used an AT. This mic is probably, I want to say 15 years old. AT 2020 USB mic. It's great. The only difference between the picture here and what you see here is I bought a pop filter for it. These ATH MX50s are brand new. They're sort of a COVID purchase, but everything else I had pre-COVID, and I've just sort of accumulated, bits of gear over the years. Wacom tablet. Again, like I said, I did a video on how to use graphic tablets. I had a Bamboo to start out. I have a Cintiq in a box over there, and now I've got the Intuos Bluetooth portable, nice, lightweight, slick. Love it. On the video camera side, this little green light here is my MacBook Pro camera. And the camera that you can't see that's behind me here is a Zoom Q2N 4K camera. So it's recording the whole scene. Whoops. And the MacBook is recording me. The whole scene. Whoops. And the MacBook is recording me. There we go. And like I said before, I'm recording all of the tracks. So that's the kit. Let's talk about the workflow piece, shall we? So again, when I set up this particular slide, I set up a template slide, and I know sort of left and right which monitor is going to be which, and I have these little markers so I can tell the centers of the monitors to create these slides. What my desktop usually looks like is this. So on the left-hand side, I will have text-based stuff, things like my email. In this case, the learning management system is open because I'm going to create some videos and upload them. On the right-hand side, I'm going to have the visual things that I use. So when I use Keynote or PowerPoint for creating presentations, I build them on that monitor. And here you can see I've got Camtasia open. I've got 3 video tracks. So one track is the screen capture. One track is the webcam capture, and then there's some other little video clips that I've tossed in here. So you can see the number of things that I use. And the nice thing about this particular approach is once you've captured all of those things, if I don't want to have my smiling face on that slide or on that video, I just lower it in the stack and it disappears. I don't want to have my smiling face on that slide or on that video, I just lower it in the stack and it disappears. If I want to have that and move it around to different corners, which I often do, then I do that as well. So if you don't record all of those tracks, you won't have them. Okay. Now, if I'm recording a video of an Excel spreadsheet, for example, what I have in front of me is a video version. What I have on this screen is the solution, right? So here I've got the full solution with the additional columns. Here I've got this. I'm going to talk to the students. Then I can say, oh, by the way, then you go to the next tab for analysis. What they don't see is that I can quickly move my mouse up here, click on the analysis tab. Here's the solution I'm working toward. And then I'm going to go down here and grab the data and build the pivot table. And then later on, I'm going to do the charts on this blank tab. And I've already done the charts here. So this is a Mr. Dressup pro tip. If you remember Mr. Dressup, he pulled out these big sheets of paper and he would draw with big fat markers these beautiful pictures. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was a small tot and I was really excited about Mr. Dress Up. But they were actually lined in ahead of time with a pencil, and then he could, very quickly take the markers and produce the image. So I've got my cheat up here on this monitor. Everything that's being recorded is down here. So that was that piece for workflow that I wanted to talk about. And everything I've talked about has been with respect to the digital video inputs. I'm going to talk about the HDMI stuff in a second. I just have to rearrange some stuff. So let me pause this camera and stop this camera here. Okay, here as promised is the HDMI setup. Again, there's two inputs into each monitor. When I'm using my Microsoft Surface for recording videos of Excel in a Windows version, for example, I like to use an external keyboard, which is big. I like to use a mouse. I have lousy old guy eyes, so I have trouble seeing the screen. So I just, run it up here, and I spend my time looking at this screen here because it's easier to look at a big screen than it is to look at this tiny little screen. Okay, and likewise, if I just yank this out, hold that up, move it over here. I can take my this iPad that I've got, and through the miracle of modern dongle technology, is it going to work for me? Source. It never works when you're recording a video. There we go. So you can quickly, do stuff on the iPad. And again, part of my kit, I love the iPad pencil, although for Plants vs. Zombies it doesn't matter. The other HDMI input there, as I mentioned, you can't see it in the background. I have my Telus optic box. I have one out in the living room with the big screen TV, but I have one here. So we could watch everybody's favorite TV show. Right? So you can have computer screens going, you can have audio going. If I have the Mac set up, I can still run this screen on DVI and this screen on HDMI and watch Bosch at the same time as doing work. So that's kind of all of my kit and workflow and how all these pieces fit together. So that's what I had for today's video. And now I'm going to take the video from this camera and the video from the laptop with Camtasia and the audio from all these different sources and then pull it together into a nice YouTube video. So thanks a lot. Oh, by the way, this hat is COVID wear too, brand new for the COVID, because my hair looks awful without it. So you didn't see that. Away we go. The whole scene, whoops. And the MacBook is recording me. The whole scene, whoops. And the MacBook is recording me.